Good evening, Marines. Staff Sergeant Davis here. I'm going to give you a quick brief on coaching. Let me ask a question. How many of you have looked at a successful Marine and asked yourself, how did they get there? What are they doing right? And perhaps, what am I doing wrong that I'm not in that position? Um, I actually ask myself the same question whenever I see a successful woman in the Marine Corps, because if she can do it, why can't I do it? I remember my first year in the fleet as a PFC. I looked up to everyone who outranked me, and I wondered how could I reach their position. In my eyes, NCOs were wise pit bulls, and staff NCOs were nothing but warriors. As I've come through the ranks, I realized that I wouldn't have developed myself into the leader I am if it wasn't for key Marines that have become mentors throughout different phases of my career. During this brief, we will challenge the traditional do as I say approach of leadership, and we'll discuss the purpose, benefits, and we'll also challenge basically the challenges of our Marines, and how we can turn them into a better version of themselves. Now, let's look at the Marine Corps as a business for a second. Staff sergeants will be the equivalent to middle management or supervisors in most traditional work structures. As managers, our responsibility will be to ensure our subordinates do their job correctly and on time. Efficiency and high productivity are the main focus here. Now, interesting enough, this traditional approach to managing subordinates rather, is being replaced by business coaching. The goal of coaching is to shift the mentality from followers into thinkers and doers by becoming engaged leaders, as I've commented expressed in Marmin 394/16. The purpose of coaching is to develop our Marines and stimulate the learning process. By a show of hands, even though I can see you, but by a show of hands, who's familiar with the expression steel sharpens steel? We are a result of our past leaders who have given us the tools to reach our potential and guide our careers. We must keep in mind that what separates us from our leaders and our eager Marines is an extensive level of experience in the Marine Corps. Our junior Marines, they also have the ability to be successful in their MOS, advance in their careers, and contribute to the mission of the unit. In most cases, all it takes is for the one involved staff sergeant to sharpen that young steel. This is how coaching adds value to the Marine Corps. First of all, coaching opens up the line of communication and helps us discover the strength of our Marines. It also helps us identify their professional and personal goals. And most importantly, it helps us learn what motivates these Marines to work hard. Before we can reap the benefits of coaching, we must get to know our Marines, truly and genuinely know the men and women we lead. Coaching is relationship based. It adds a different layer of caring, as being a coach to our Marines helps them see us as people rather than employees, and vice versa. We all know we get better response from our Marines when they see us being human. Seeing the human side shows them that we're relatable. Also, it opens the lines of communication with them. It helps us gain their trust in order to ask the powerful questions our Marines need in order to create their own playbook. By asking them instead of telling them, we encourage the thought process towards the resolution they will likely buy in. This will also give them a sense of ownership and confidence in their own decision-making abilities. Another reward of successful coaching is the ability to solve performance problems of our Marines by identifying barriers within themselves. Teaching them to break a challenge into a milestone ensures constant focus on the process towards achieving the final outcome. It also helps them be proactive by identifying actions that need to be taken early on if things were to go off rail. This not only improves the performance of each Marine, but also the mission accomplishment of the section and the unit as a whole. Now, in most traditional business, and let's include the Marine Corps as one of these businesses, we tend to focus on the troublemakers, or what we all know as as the turds. It is easy for managers and supervisors to fall into a disciplinary rut, where underperformance and leadership challenges take most of our time and efforts to redirect their negative behaviors. Ironically, This takes away from our hard workers Marines who are already doing the job, they're doing it well, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, because we assume that they don't need anyone to intervene. They're already getting the job done. Why should we even bother being concerned with them? Now, coaching changes this dialogue from policy into positive feedback. It's not necessarily do as I say, but do as it needs to be done. Let's open up the line of communication. Let's talk. Ultimately, it helps our Marines know the actions we need to reinforce rather, so that we can see more of them. So basically applying positive reinforcement all the way around, not just focusing on negative. Some of the skills that enhance coaching ability is caring about the professional and personal goals of a Marine, as well as knowing what we're talking about. Now, the job of coaching is not to provide all the answers to our Marines, even though we might be inclined to, because we just want to get the work done. They must have an understanding of how the problem gets solved. First of all, why did they get a problem? Where did this come from? It helps them understand what they need to do in order to find a way out. We're there for guidance. Without having an understanding of what the process is, we cannot be successful coaches to these Marines. Now, throughout this brief, we discussed the purpose, benefits, challenges, and necessary skills to coaching our Marines instead of telling them what to do. I hope you can all recognize that coaching is one of the most important leadership tools needed to develop subordinates and improve the mission. Asking questions help our Marines come up with their own answers and encourage the thought process. An easy way to remember this is to operate as coaches rather than managers. Shift the mentality as a military instructor into an actual practical business instructor. And ultimately, this is what will help us be leaders instead of a simple boss. I hope this was helpful, and have a good evening.